Hi Tarot friends, this is Kathy from Mystic Shield Tarot. I'm here with a new tarot reading for you today. We will be looking at what area of your life to focus on right now. So in this day and age, we all have so many things we could put our energy and attention into, and some things are going to serve us better than others. So I thought it would be a great time to do a reading like this where we kind of look at what it is that's going to be your best use of time, effort, and energy. So if you like to pick just according to what you see, I always mention putting your hand over the pile or your finger if you're on your phone and just seeing which pile might have a response for the palm of your hand or even your finger. Or if you like to pick using stones and crystals, we have a Smoky Quartz here. We have Red Creek Jasper. And then we have a rose quartz as well. So see what stands out to you, and if it's more than one pile, of course you can watch more than one reading. They could both be for you, or they could all be for you even. So just take a moment and see what you're drawn to. Hi, pile one. You chose the first card and the Smoky Quartz. It's really quite beautiful. I don't know if the picture is doing justice to it, but it is a beautiful, beautiful, powerful feeling crystal. And let's see what cards you have for today. And again, this reading will be looking at what area of your life would benefit most from your focus and energy. So I feel like this is the card here. That feels right to me, absolutely. Oops, okay, King of Bats wants to be with us now. Oh, goodness, wow, okay. Okay, the cards are all like wanting to join in the reading. It's wonderful. So there is a very clear message, I believe, for you here, or a very urgent one, for sure, based on the eagerness of the cards to jump into the reading. So let's see what we have here. So for our first card here, we have the wood element, cheeriness and natural growth. And then for your archetype card, we have the mask. Interesting combination. Then we have the King of Bats or Swords, the Devil card, the Knight of Pumpkins or Pentacles, the Queen of Pumpkins, and I think I feel the reversals today, so let's keep it in. The Hanged Man reversed, the Four of Pumpkins reversed, and that would be Pentacles typically. Wow, another major arcana, the Empress reversed. All right, and then finally, Page of Bats reversed. And the bats, again, is swords. Interesting. So to me, what I'm seeing, obviously, is these reversals that I've decided to, my gut said to keep the reversals in the reading. So to me, a lot of this reading is about putting energy into getting things back on track. That there's a chance that you have maybe taken and put a lot of energy into pleasing someone else, maybe the King of Bats here. If that resonates, this would be probably a masculine figure, someone with masculine energy who is very decisive, can sometimes be cold or unemotional. And it feels like there's this work being done, or you've been doing this work to kind of keep things going in a certain area of your life that really pertains to other people. And as a result, these other aspects of your life are not being utilized or activated. And so it's interesting because with the cheeriness and natural growth, I think there's this encouragement to let things go a little bit, to let things happen on their own. And with this here, these cards here, sorry, I just had to fix something. With these cards here, these three here, it feels to me like you're very concerned with the growth of other people and not putting enough attention into yourself. And the result is not only that your kind of energy is blocked, or you're not making progress in certain areas of your life that are pretty significant, but you may also be influencing the growth of other people and how they can grow naturally. So that's something to keep in mind. To maybe it's time to let people do their own thing. And if they're trying to get you to, like, I don't know, it's a complicated thing, because I think there's a little bit of you not wanting to let go and let things happen naturally, but then there is also a bit of someone else trying to do the same thing to you. And so I feel as if, yeah, and everybody's hands have gloves on them. There's this like, and the mask, there's this covering up of things. There's a covering up of intentions, or, there's some kind of inauthenticity happening right now. But so the focus is to come away from that. And there's so much more to the story. There's so much more potential, and letting things happen on their own, letting nature take its course a little bit is going to be so good for you. It's going to help you, I think, a great deal. And part of that is going to be maybe looking at other roles in your life. So, for example, if you were if you were really focused on your work and you're great at work, and that's like your main role that you identify with, it may take branching out into other roles and seeing your other potential. So instead of just being a great employee, you could be a great friend or very creative person, pouring your energy into other things. Right now, it's largely, I think, being poured into service for other people, or kind of like molding a situation, or there's some level of, influencing something that's happening that is going to take its own course anyway. So there's not really, that's the thing with the wood element. It's like even if you try to prevent growth from happening, you really can't, or prevent something from happening. That what you can do is focus on these other areas instead. So let's have a look at what is happening with those. So going into this, these areas to focus on, I think, again, we're looking at letting something go. I think it might have to do with the King of Bats, or someone or something in your life that requires you to be like less emotional and to manage things. But it's wonky because it's just not you have to, this situation is stuck and it needs to stay stuck, and trying to make it unstick takes a tremendous amount of energy, and it's not worthwhile. So fixing this situation, whether it's a person or something at work, or whatever it is that requires like so much attention and energy, and it also makes it so that you can't really be like fully emotional. I think there are emotions here, but it's not like you can't be vulnerable. That's the word I'm thinking of. And the thing is that this is a process that has to happen and be allowed to unfold on its own. Absolutely. So whether it's a person that's like going through a big transition and they feel stuck, or they seem stuck, or you're not connecting the way you used to, or if it's a job where, it's like this project that's not getting off the ground, or even like a friendship, you know what I mean? Like whatever this is, you should know that it's meant to take a while, and it's not really so much about you. I don't think that this is something you need to tend to. So again, we're looking at something to take your energy away from, so that you can come more into this other area of, put your energy into, I feel like, connecting to other people in a way that is like nourishing for you. So it could be like teaching people something or sharing a skill with people. It could be spending time with people who are younger than you, but in this like capacity of nurturing or teaching. It's lighthearted though, a little bit of fun, I feel like. It could also just be connecting with people around crafts or things like that. There's a creative element here that, I mentioned that earlier, that it could, letting go of roles or taking on other roles. And I think one of those roles is more of this, knowledgeable person who is creative, and tapping into that, and maybe even taking time to learn something creative. If you don't feel like you are that, I think there's the potential to be that way, to learn a craft or some kind of skill and be able to teach it to other people. So that's like a lovely area to kind of foster. The other thing is that I think in order to like really feel like you're helping other people, or, in this role that you're in up here where, you're in service to others, there's this lack of control that you have in your personal life as a result of that. And I think putting more effort into that part of yourself, the part of you that is wanting to grow, the part of you that is, again, nurturing and creative and all of those things. And to me, what's being called in with this reversal, sorry, I just want to fix this a little bit. I'm probably not fixing it at all, but this is where I have to let go, because it's just going to be what it is. It's very difficult to get this just right. I really respect people who are able to do that. Maybe that's something, again, I need to let go of. Anyway, so perfectionism, if you're a perfectionist, let go of that a little bit. But this other mask of an empowered person in an empowered feminine energy, a more fully realized person. And I think the way we get there, the way to go, is to tap into not just the Empress, but the High Priestess here. So the thing that this reversal points to for me is the High Priestess. Excuse me. And the High Priestess is a more spiritual, less controlling, but more receptive in the ways of like meditating and spirituality and receiving information is concerned. I think that is a foundation to draw from that will help you to bring this Empress energy more into your life, help you to bring that role more out, which again is more of that teaching and creativity and nurturing energy that you have. I feel that this is your true nature, that this is really how you are usually when left to your own devices, but somehow the situation, as is often the case, I think, with the Empress energy is it can get turned around so that the best parts of you and the parts that are the most empowering for yourself are kind of taken away, and it turns into this situation where you're more like complaining more often, or nagging, or trying to control things from a place of disempowerment. And so the work is to come back to this place of empowerment. And I think a great path to get there is through spirituality, through that high priestess, because you have like, there's such a capacity for collaboration here, for nurturing growth, for, you know, receiving help from people, like a balanced relationship. And I think it all starts here with the Empress. I am going to do another card just to get clarification on, you know, if the High Priestess is a way to go. How do we get this Empress card flipped upright? Thank you. Okay, and we have the Nine of Ghosts. Okay, so letting go, again, letting go of perfectionism, letting go of having to seem like everything is perfect, especially with the mask. So if you're trying to portray this like perfect person to other folks, if you're trying to say, oh, we're all happy here, our relationships are perfect, or work is perfect, to let go of that need. And then with the Two of Ghosts, there's an idea of worrying less about how the public is going to see you, worrying less about, you know, if you're into social media a lot, that kind of portrayal of, you know, I'm living my best life, to let go of that and to more focus on these intimate one-on-one balanced relationships where you're vulnerable with each other and you're growing. With the snake there, that's all about transformation, growth, shedding skin, you know. And so there's this period of growth that is tugging at you. You probably know that, and you're being called to get more into that area. And with the ghosts also, there's this emotional, again, with the High Priestess, we have this emotional quality coming to the surface instead of, you know, just being, you know, like very rational, and ruled by thought or ruled by outcomes. We're looking at a more relationship oriented focus. So I think that that is really, you know, the best place you can bring your energy right now is into your relationships. If you have a friendship you really enjoy, spend time with that person, take yourself off of online. Stop, you know, you don't need to worry about impressing people or appearing a certain way, letting that mask fall away. It will do you a world of good. You have, you know, this, I believe the Empress really speaks to, you know, in the past, the strength that you felt, the empowerment you felt, before things kind of got turned around and your role became very narrow. So broadening through creativity, you know, balanced relationships, being a more emotional, letting your emotions have you know, having a range of emotions instead of just frustration, which is kind of what I feel in here, and letting other people just do their own thing, even if it's really difficult, because there's a process happening here that is happening with or without you. And if it's without you, then that's great because you have more energy to put into your own growth and your own transformation, which is also being called up here. Well, that is a really great reading. It was very, like I said, the cards popped right out. It was very clear right from the get-go to me as we went into it. Like sometimes I'll get into reading and it takes a while. I don't feel like this took that long at all. And so to me, this is like a very clear, very like timely message for you for whenever you're watching this, and that the universe is really telling you that to work on these areas, to work on being more emotional, work on relationships, teaching maybe, you know, and learning as well. So that's your reading for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, if you could like the video, it would mean a lot to me. And if you like content like this about tarot, intuition, and things like that, please follow me. I'll be putting out, you know, more content all the time. And more important than all of those things, have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, again, we are talking about an area to bring more focus in on your life. You chose the second card and the Red Creek Jasper. It's really such a pretty rock. I wish I could, I feel like the camera's not doing it justice, but that's okay. So lovely grounding energy already for your reading with that particular card. Let's see what other cards come up. So it's interesting because a reading like this, you know, you often find that when you're asking, where can I focus my energy? The cards also want to talk to you about where to stop focusing. So we'll see. I imagine that's probably going to come up here. It did in the first reading. And it's always pretty interesting to find that out. I did decide to read with reversals today. My intuition was just saying you need reversals, so we're going to keep the reversals in today. Oh, and then we have our first card. It flipped over here, the Six of Ghosts. Let's see what else we have. Thank you. Thank you. This deck is really energized today. I feel like it's very vocal in the cards that are coming out. Okay, this one. All right, let's see what we've got here. I feel like this section wants to be dealt off of. I can absolutely do that. All right, and let's just get this a little bit more centered. It's so hard to get it just right. I was saying in the last reading, I think one of the things I need to stop putting my energy into is perfectionism, but you know, things should look as good as they can, and this is what I've got right now. So anyway, so let's take a look at your cards for this first card from the set. Oh, I love this one. From the Subtle Body Oracle deck, we have the fourth chakra. It's a stunning card, and it says relationships and healing. And then, wow, for your archetype card, we have Aletheia, which is about healing and the truth. And then we have the Six of Ghosts, which is also the Six of Cups. We have the Star reversed. We have the Hermit reversed. We have the Fool. We have the Nine of Pumpkins reversed. The Knight of Ghosts reversed. The Wheel of Fortune. And lastly, the Seven of Bats. All right, so let's see what we've got going on here. So the Aletheia card is a really powerful card, and it has to do with like revealing the truth or letting the truth come out about something. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out in the rest of this reading. We have relationships and healing. So even with these two cards alone, there's like a big message about, you know, maybe coming clean in a relationship or acknowledging a situation that you haven't been willing to, that possibly you've been in denial about in a particular relationship. So let's see. You have an interesting, like a combination of uprights and reversals. There is some sneakiness happening here with this Seven of Bats. And there's a big change happening too. The Star. Whenever I see the Wheel of Fortune in a reading, I always think about it turning the cards all the opposite way. So like all the reversals would become upright and vice versa. So I'm wondering if that is applicable here. All right, so certainly, absolutely. There is this kind of denial with the Fool card. In combination with this, I do feel like there's some kind of denial about something that's happening in your relationships, or it does seem to be relationships just based on what we have here. It could be about something else, but I really feel pretty strongly it's about relationships. And that it's something that you are, I believe, aware of. It could be just like an off feeling in a relationship. It doesn't have to be this big thing. Like I don't necessarily, because I know, like for me, sometimes the mind immediately goes to like somebody's cheating on you or somebody's stealing from you or something. But really, I don't think it necessarily has to be this big thing. It can be a subtle offness in the relationship. Something is just not balanced, or something is not quite right. With the Fool card, there's this feeling of, or this desire to, in this case, kind of just keep going and ignoring what's happening and just kind of just pretend nothing's going on, waiting until it passes. These cards, though, say as to encourage you to put energy into looking at what's happening, bringing up what's happening, dealing with what's happening, instead of putting your energy into ignoring it, which is a lot. It could take a lot of energy to be in denial, I have to say. And sometimes we don't realize it because it seems so much easier. But underneath the surface, there's a lot of hurt that can happen, and there's a lot of scar tissue that builds up that can affect your other relationships, not only in the present but in the future. With the Wheel of Fortune being here, I feel like there's a fear of being alone. On the Hermit right above it, like you're maybe afraid to say anything because you don't want to be lonely or feel alone. It's so interesting because it's the Hermit card, which is like one of my favorite cards in the deck. So I think that, even calling into question, like, what do you think it means to be alone, is a great idea. It's funny because you don't really, I feel like you kind of are alone already because of this split, this thing that's happening in your relationships where you don't feel like you're connecting anymore, where something is wrong. There's a loneliness here, but not like the healthy alone of the Hermit. And I think the thing about the Hermit in this reading that can seem so scary is it's like the officially being alone instead of being in a relationship and just feeling lonely. But again, there is so much to be said for the Hermit, which is a card, in this particular deck, it's hilarious and sweet. It's like this person's by themselves. They're experimenting. They're doing what they obviously love. They're having all these thoughts and ideas. So there is this like energy that comes to you, like this overflowing energy from this test tube when you have downtime, when you are alone. There's this energy that can come through to you. There are original thoughts, there's inspiration, there's all of this untapped goodness happening. And so it's so just even like putting energy into imagining that being alone might not be the worst thing. And it's not saying to change anything. That is something that I want to make clear. Like, it's not saying, I don't see anywhere in here it's like break off a relationship or stop being in a relationship. But there is a calling out and saying, asking what is going on, or being honest if you're the one who's doing something that is shady, or you're not completely happy, because it may not be shady. It might just be not telling all the truth. You know what I mean? Like not sharing all the things, like, I was really upset when this happened, or whatever it is. Like just communicating is so powerful. And there's this ultimatum, I think, maybe in your head, where if you do that, it's going to be a disaster. You kind of, there's like the cognitive distortion, all or nothing here, or catastrophizing. And not only catastrophizing like the result of speaking up, but also catastrophizing what it means to be alone. So just keep in touch with that, be aware of that. It's much more important to put energy into, the bright side, shining a light on the issues so that you can kind of heal, with this healing card. What I also see here, so with the Wheel of Fortune, it just, I do kind of feel like it's this particular Wheel of Fortune. He looks so nervous. And I feel like there's this fear here, I'm not sure if things are really changing as much as they feel like they are. And I want to follow up on that if it doesn't become clear in these next cards. So for the Star card, it's interesting to have the Hermit and the Star next to each other, because the Star is also to me in this reading, and when I think about it, it's also a card about being alone, but it's being alone, but adored by everyone. So there's still this lack of connecting with the greater world, but it's this more it's a more showy kind of disconnection, and it's a lot less personal in a way. With these two cards next to each other, I can't help but draw like a comparison between the two, and one is like quite distant and one is very present. But what on earth does that mean for anything? It just feels like, with the Knight of Ghosts under here, the Knight of Cups, like this, again, I'm just going to go with it. The Knight of Ghosts, I feel like this is all about this relationship. And here we are, you just feel like you don't live up to this person. And so, and you feel kind of like you're, like there's so much bigger than you in a way, or so much more important in a way. Like I feel like it's this contrast between how you view yourself and how you view this person, or how you think other people view you. And the Knight of Ghosts is, the other person. So this kind of exacerbates this concern you have about losing them, or about being alone, that you don't want to speak up because you don't want to lose this. But the Six of Cups is saying, like, it's not this such a big thing, and it's like, with the Nine of Pumpkins and Nine of Coins here, there's like wish fulfillment, and the Star also has to do with wishes. Let us pull out a couple other cards, just not only to get clear on the Wheel of Fortune, but also on this Knight of Ghosts, not goats. Just a little bit more insight into the reading overall, I think, would serve me well right now. It's this one. Okay. The High Priestess. The Queen of Pumpkins, interesting. And the Eight of Bats. I'm not satisfied. So tell me more about this relationship. What's happening here with this relationship part of things? Come on. Like, I want it to be very, there it is. Okay, here's one. I'm going to do one more. And I believe, oh, we'll do two more. And here they are. Okay, so let's see. Okay, King of Pumpkins. The Judgment card reversed. Knight of Pumpkins. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just, it's kind of just confirming what I'm already seeing. This pressure that you're putting on this relationship or this situation is so intense, and it doesn't need to be. That you can put your energy, you can trust yourself, first of all, with the High Priestess. You can trust that your insight, whatever is tugging at your gut, if there's something like that, whatever it is you're concealing, because the High Priestess is also about that, it can come into the light. And that, if with these two cards, it's like, you could go either way, so see which way it lands for you. But I feel like there's either a lot of pressure being put onto the relationship, which is causing a lot of stress for you, or it could be that the relationship is really very solid, and there isn't this need for like worrying so much about losing in it. The problem is that you just are, it's just this denial, this, or whatever it is, like hiding or denial, either one. And with the Judgment card, it's it's that Alethea again. It's like bringing the truth out, letting it breathe, and then let me just see, I'm going to pull these away. Knight of Pumpkins, Knight of Ghosts. Okay, and that I think possibly there's this other side to this person that you're forgetting about, that is like very practical and kind, and not and that not everything involves you in their lives, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. But talking to them about it, I think, is pretty important. And that's where your energy really should be going, is just communicating about how you feel, about what's going on. And also, of course, if it is for you, if that resonates, that idea of this person having other interests that don't involve you, and that's very hard for you, I think that putting energy into this Hermit card could actually help bring so much balance to things, and that you, like, having your own time to explore, to do your own thing, to be yourself, to, this is like such a, like, to geek out, to be nerdy about things, enjoy what you enjoy and only you enjoy, is going to be super helpful for you, and it will help to bring balance to this situation. I don't feel like things are as dire as they seem. However, talking about whatever is going on is really important, because if this continues to grow, it could become a problem down the road. So overall, I really, I hope this was helpful. If this resonated with you, I really do think that things will be fine, and it's just a shift in perspective, and not like a huge turn of the wheel like it might seem. Yeah, this is such a pretty card. I just want to look at it one more time. And I think also, as I'm looking at this and I'm looking at these and how they have such similar coloring and everything, there is this lightness that needs to come through here, that you can have a good time, that it doesn't have to all be heavy and weighted, and like putting energy into that as well, like taking yourself more seriously and your needs and what you enjoy, and spending time doing that apart from the relationship. And then also just spending time and being light and having fun is going to be really great. I think it will bring so much balance to things. I think you will feel better. And I think what might be happening. I keep going. I keep thinking it's over, but it isn't, because the last thing I have to say is you might be bringing baggage from past relationships into this one. It could be causing the insecurity that you're feeling right now. And if that is the case, working on healing that part of you and knowing that this is not the same situation and not the same relationship is also going to be a great move for you. So that is your reading, pile number 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps me out. And if you like content like this, please follow the channel. I'll be putting out, more readings, some deck reviews and things like that. And if you don't want to miss it, following is the best way to keep, subscribing is the best way to keep in touch. And more importantly than all of that, have a wonderful day. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. You chose the 3rd card and the beautiful rose quartz. So let's see what your cards are telling us today. Again, this is a reading all about a new area, or what area of your life you should focus on. The previous 2 readings have also, as a result, talked about what not to focus on. So I'm sure that might come up in your reading as well. But knowing, where to put your energy, where to put your effort can be such a wonderful gift. I feel like this is the one. So let's see what the universe has to tell you about that. All right, thank you. Woo, all right. This deck is super chatty today. I'm loving it. This one, and I feel like this one here. And I am reading with reversals today. My gut just said to go with that for today, so I am. And I'll take these. And I'll put this one off to the side. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it right here. Oh my God. The sneaky hidden card. I love it when that happens in a reading. I really feel like it has this extra symbolism in the, with the hidden thing. So this is the card hiding underneath. So let's see what is going on in your reading. I'm so excited because that happened, because I feel like it's going to be very interesting. So to start off, you have the water element, cleansing and flow. It matches the rose quartz. So lovely. All right. And then for your archetype, you have the sword. Very interesting. All right, and let's look at your tarot cards. You have the 10 of Ghosts, also known as the 10 of Cups. You have the 9 of Ghosts, 9 of Cups reversed. You have the Ace of Imps, which is the Ace of Wands. And you have, sneaking in, the Queen of Ghosts, which is the Queen of Cups. And I'm going to keep these 2. I want to keep them together. I'll figure out how I can make that happen. Then you have the Star card. You have the Devil card. You have the 6 of Ghosts or Cups. You have the Knight of Ghosts or Cups. Lots of relationship stuff happening here. The Page of Pumpkins. And finally, the 8 of Ghosts. Woo. All right, so let's see how we can fit our sneaky queen here. I think we're gonna just have to do this. Let me see. I feel like where they're placed is important though. And I really, well, I'll just in my mind remember that that card is kind of capping this all, because I feel like that position at the end was important. which is interesting because the Queen of Ghosts made it so that it couldn't be at the end. All right, well, let's see what's going on. The Sword is such a strong card here, and it's interesting because, you know, as far as the water element, the cups go, you have so many cups here. And for the Sword to appear, it's almost calling out a more a less emotional approach, or creating more boundaries. So as we go through this, I'll get clearer on that aspect. For now, let's see what the cards have to say. So I feel really strongly that for you, setting boundaries is very important, that you often forget yourself in the face of other relationships. It's because the Queen of Ghosts snuck in there. I just feel that there's this idea of forgetting yourself, of being forgotten, of, you know, not being able to differentiate yourself from other people in a way. Like in your mind, you have a hard time putting yourself before others. You have a hard time forgetting who you are too. I mean, remembering who you are. You have a hard time remembering who you are. And I feel like there's this element of, what is this? There's like a practical side to you that I think is kind of getting taken out of the equation by all of this relationship stuff. Let me just see though. So much energy is coming out in the cards from all of these cups. And what I'm feeling is, you know, the sense of being very busy, and very busy with social occasions, like, you know, Halloween party maybe, or if it's, you know, not around Halloween when you watch this, some kind of party, some kind of celebration, and more than one too. And there's this need to, you really draw a feeling of satisfaction from your relationships. At the same time, there is this kind of feeling of, when do I get to just settle? You know what I mean? When can I just settle? This isn't really settling. Feeling like you have a active social life while satisfying in some respects. I feel like it's more like checking off a box than it is actual like soul satisfaction. And I feel like in some ways you really would be fed by connecting with people on a more intimate scale. This reminds me a little bit of the first reading, and there are this card, and I believe this card also were in that reading. So if that's of interest to you, or if you felt like you might want to watch it, check it out because it could apply. Here it's a little, in this reading, we're really looking at this, this kind of humming social life that is, it's hard because I feel that sometimes you're in like competition with yourself, with your image. You feel like you have to keep it up all the time. And it's tough because there are little hints here about, you know, wanting to set boundaries, wanting to separate from people for a while, wanting to do your own thing, and feeling like you just can't do it. And with the Eight of Ghosts and where it is supposed to be located, I feel that, you know, there is this desire to not always be on, and to not always be around a bunch of other people. There is this, you know, aspect of you that is very, like I said, practical or results oriented. and there's a part of you that's wondering, what do I really want? Is this really what I want? Or should I invest more in myself? Should I invest more in my dreams? And not just focus on, having a good time or being, around other people so often, and invest instead, with the books here, it's like in like learning and education and investing and, being educated or something along those lines. Just where it's like something for you, something just for you that you that grows you in a certain way. And I think it can be hard because you are somebody people like to be around. It is something that it's like, oh, come on, come out. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, well, all right. And so there's always this pull to disperse your energy in these social ways. Let's see, with the Devil card here. There's this element of feeling trapped, or this energy. What is this? I'm gonna just let me pull out what is the Devil card about here? Do we have one more? Let me just see. I think it might just be that one. Oh, it's two. Gosh, I'm not able to read things very well. All right, the Knight of Imps and the Three of Imps, and Imps are both wands. Yeah, I mean, you have your own dreams here. As much as you might try not to, you aren't like everyone else, which is why, you're also the star in some ways, because you stand out. At the same time, you have separate dreams and goals. You see the world differently, which is why the Eight of Cups, it's like, just leaving a group you don't belong with, or you don't feel you fit in with, or the desire to do that. With the Knight of Imps, you feel really pulled in this. Yeah, there's this real strong pull in this direction, towards not growing, towards the past in a way, or not moving forward. I think that's the more accurate way to put it. There's this pull to keep things the same and to just, it's always going to be like this. We're never going to change. We don't need to, or, I just want to have fun, but it's not, the just want to have fun doesn't quite do it justice, because it's not that surface of a desire. It's a more heavily rooted desire in wanting to fit in, or wanting to just have things stay the same, I think. And so those things kind of have you feeling trapped. Yeah, you're not like everyone else. And I think you might be getting tired of trying to be like everyone else, or to at least be with everyone else. So putting your energy more into this other side of you and setting that boundary with other people is going to be, a great area to focus on. I'm just going to ask, I just want a little bit more clarification on the water element. In this card, I do think there's this strength here. So many court cards, so many personalities and different people. Wow. So, yeah. So you have this, I mentioned this practical side. You have a very nurturing, practical side. And right now it's used to relate to other people and to, gather together and all of that. but there's this part of it that isn't being fed right now. And so this is where the investment in yourself comes in. Here we have again the book, right? And this is where it comes in to use your energy that you're using for all these other people and gather it and give it to yourself. Give it to yourself so that you can grow in ways that you've been wanting to. Like it just makes me think of all the house plants, and how it's so great to have house plants and nurture house plants. And there's this idea of abundance here with the rabbit. And so this is like feeding that part of you, though, the part of you that is, you invest in other people, you need to invest in yourself, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's not even necessarily in individuals, but just being liked almost, or I don't know, liked, these words, they aren't sufficient enough. I don't think liked and fun really captures it, but it's the best I've got right now. And then with the High Priestess, it just pulls us right into that realm of investing in the self, receiving information, connecting to the higher self instead of connecting to all these disparate parts of other people. Because I think that there is this part of you that hasn't had the chance yet to really develop. And that you have this emotional side that, it's you're not serving yourself the way you could be with this side. You're helping other people, you're not helping yourself. I feel like I'm repeating what I said, but there's just this huge potential. And I think that because I think ultimately there's a direction for you. There's something that you want, first of all. I really do believe that. And you have been thinking about, well, what can I do? What can I commit to? I really like these things. I want to do them, and so that's one side. And I feel like you've been thinking about maybe toning it down a little bit and staying home sometimes and things like that, or setting boundaries with people, which is like that's a good thing to put energy into, I think. And then you have the High Priestess here, which is just bringing that out even more. And it's building on that ability and that insight that you have, and really putting the energy into yourself, into having a more balanced life, but a higher purpose as well, because there is a path that you're meant to be on, and that in order to get on this path, you have to get off of the path you're on right now, even though, part of you doesn't ever want it to change and you want it to stay the same. In order to proceed with your life, you have to get on this new path. And the High Priestess is where that happens. And so, like I said, investing in yourself, developing your spiritual side, or just looking to your higher self, seeking your own counsel instead of giving it to other people, because there is this, movement in a certain direction. And I feel like, you have these invitations here. The Knight of Ghosts and the Page of Ghosts, I feel like, they both have information to provide you. And this is, I feel like, the invitation to keep doing what you're doing. And this is the invitation to take a new path and to follow these strengths that you have in a new direction. And it's hard because I think it does involve maybe leaving the group of people or the, relationships that you've worked on, and not feeling maybe in your element. Like if this, so much of this to me feels like the question of whether or not to go back to school. And this is like the acceptance letter, and it's scary because you're a fish out of water, right? You're not in your element, what you believe to be your element. You're not around the same group of people. However, it is exactly where to put your energy and focus, because this right here can go on for a long, long time. It can. You have the capacity to bring all of that energy there, but it's not going to satisfy you, which is why the Nine of Ghosts is reversed. And it's not going to get you on this path that I really believe you belong on, that the universe will unfold a little bit as you start to make this shift. You should see signs of synchronicity and things like that, encouragement to make those boundaries, to make that change, to make that decision, and then confirmation that it is the right decision once it's been made. And it's going to be hard, I think, in some ways, but so valuable and so right. And I think I've made my case for why it's so right, with the universe being so supportive. And there is this path for you that you're meant to walk on. So, I think that's it. This was a really great reading. With the Queen of Ghosts, I do feel like, in the Ace of Wands, I didn't even talk about that, but it kind of just goes into all this dream that you have, this idea, that's relatively new, or it's a new position. It's that, that going back to school feeling, or even switching jobs, it's just some kind of shift in your usual group, and it's an investment in yourself. And you try so hard to rein that in. And I think with these two cards kind of being sneakily together, this is where you put your energy. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you're being called to, the area that you're trying not to even engage with because you don't want this to change. But here we are. So this is your reading pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like, give the video a like. And also, if you enjoy content like this, tarot readings, deck reviews, etc., consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. And more importantly than all of that, have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.